So this is take one on my book review, Waking the Tiger by Steven Levine. I have mentioned this book to several people and they sort of roll their eyes at me and say, yeah, they read that years ago. So I don't know, I am kind of late to this book, but I wanted to read it as a rather seminal text. And I liked and appreciated it, and I think it's still certainly worth a read. And why I think that and kind of what it's about is what I'll go over right now. At its core, Peter Levine talks about trauma. He talks about, this book was only about shock trauma. I'm just trying to see what year it was written. 1997, so it's been a minute. And it is about shock trauma. It's not about developmental trauma like I experienced, which I didn't really know until I read whatever, the prologue. But still, I think it's good. And at its core, like I said, he thinks that we need to connect to our animal instincts and those survival mechanisms that we see in animals and that we have in ourselves that have been so kind of covered over and like really dismissed by the sort of the so-called modern world that we live in. So these instincts, the fight, flight, freeze, those animal instincts, I won't add fawn or I have a fifth one that I like, which is find, which I believe is a total nervous system thing with parental wounding, but I won't go into that now. But those basic survival instincts are what we see in animals, and when those things are carried out and energies are expressed after a trauma in the animal kingdom, animals are not traumatized. Now, we with our prefrontal cortexes and our very, very long period that we are dependent on parents makes us more susceptible to trauma. But in that way, he is asking us just to be aware of these instincts and to let those patterns naturally take place. He also is very, very into the idea of the felt sense, and which is, you know, just a big part of our being so unattuned to our environment. People don't really know what the felt sense is anymore, but we as breath workers do. The felt sense in terms of what's happened to us and what's going on around us is very important. And the two other pieces, I liked the case studies. Some of these case studies were just fascinating. Although I do like, I guess for shock trauma, it's possible to have someone in one session or maybe just a few release their trauma. That wouldn't be the case necessarily with developmental trauma or complex trauma. But the case studies are all very interesting. And the two concepts that I kind of also honed in on that I thought were really fascinating. One is reenactment and one is renegotiation. Now, reenactment is literally when people are reenacting their trauma. Peter Levine describes justice as being a discharged nervous system. And when you think about like what's going on, let's say in Gaza right now, and this one traumatized people traumatizing another people, like this idea of reenactment really fascinated me because I'm so distressed by what's going on in the collective on so many levels. So justice is a discharged nervous system. That it could mean so much if we just kind of looked at all these issues through the lens of trauma. And the other one is the way to heal, because reenactment will just keep perpetuating the violence and the shame and the blame and the horrible things that we're seeing. But renegotiation is when you are connecting to your trauma and doing it with the felt sense and titrating and pendulating. And it is, that's the way to heal. And I'm already over my 4 minutes. So that's the book. I recommend it, and that's it. Thanks.